Once a small-town dreamer, now a vocal legend. Rhoda's rise to fame is anything but simple. Loved by some, hated by others, her story blurs the line between rebellion and inspiration. Today, we're going to be looking into Rhoda, who she is, and where she came from. Before the fame, before the headlines, there was just Rhoda. Born and raised in the sleepy town of Aurora skies, she grew up on a small, thriving farm. A world built on hard work, self-reliance, and love. Her childhood was a happy one, spent tending to animals, chasing the sun, and dancing to the music her mother loved to play. Her parents were deeply devoted to each other and the land, and taught Rhoda the value of persistence and heart. It was a life full of freedom, laughter, and dreams. It's where Rhoda's fire to chase something bigger first began to burn. Despite Rhoda's happy and stable upbringing, her fiery personality couldn't stay bottled up forever. As she transitioned into adolescence, the first cracks began to show. She started sneaking out at night, setting off fireworks at all hours with her boyfriend, trading in the soft melodies of her piano for the wild, screaming chords of an electric guitar, and on more than one occasion, she could be found smoking by the ruins of the old village, a place her parents warned her to always stay away from. The more they tried to hold on, the harder she pushed them away. Fights with friends became a regular part of her days, and her relationship with her boyfriend grew to be a little too cozy for anyone's comfort. The bright, carefree little girl from Aurora skies was still there, but she was getting harder to find. When her boyfriend suddenly dumped her, Rhoda was devastated, heartbroken, and isolated. She realized just how far she'd pushed everyone away. She felt truly alone, and the walls of her once beloved home felt like they were closing in. So on a whim, with nothing but a pack bag and a restless heart, she made a break for the big city, chasing a future she could no longer find at home. Rhoda's first glimpse of Bridgeport was everything she had dreamed of. A city alive with opportunity, fortune, and fame. She arrived at the port, bag in hand, and hope burning in her chest. But reality hit fast, and finding a job wasn't easy. Playing her guitar by the subway for tips, and dumpster diving just to get by. It wasn't glamorous, but it was enough. Little by little, she scraped together a living, and eventually was able to afford a place of her own. It wasn't much, but it was hers, and it was the first step toward a future she refused to give up on. As time passed, Rhoda adapted to life on her own in Bridgeport. The dream of fame still burned in her heart, but she was learning the ropes. She graduated from playing for tips to landing gigs at local dive bars. She felt she was on the right track, each night on stage bringing her a step closer to where she wanted to be. Then one fateful night while performing, Rhoda's life changed. Celebrity Lola Bell, known for her bold attitude and impeccable taste in music, happened to be at the bar. Impressed by Rhoda's sound and inspired by her fierce determination, Lola saw something special, offering to take her under her wing. For the first time, Rhoda felt like her big break had finally arrived. With Lola's help, she went from small gigs to major performances, luxury parties, and constant attention. And amid this chaos, she fell into a romance with Matthew Hamming, the famous actor and notorious heartbreaker. Their connection was undeniable. But it didn't take long for Rhoda to realize Matthew's commitment issues. On their wedding day, Rhoda stood at the altar, surrounded by guests waiting for Matthew. And when he finally arrived, it wasn't with a ring or vows, it was with a look of panic. Without a word, he turned and ran, leaving Rhoda standing there, broken and alone, as her dreams crumbled at her feet. After being left at the altar, Rhoda was broken. Her natural instinct was to flee, to escape the pain and start fresh. So she packed up her life, leaving Bridgeport behind. The city of fame and broken dreams no longer felt like home. Ready for a new beginning, somewhere where nobody knew of her past. It was time to find herself again. Rhoda found herself in Starlight Shores, where the sun shone brightly, offering warmth and hope that her life had long lacked. It was the perfect place to continue her career and soak up the good energy that she desperately needed. She soon crossed paths with Adrian, the kind-hearted member of the famous band 3 Men and a Llama. Their romance was pure, filled with laughter and joy. Adrian had a heart of gold, and his easygoing nature made Rhoda feel safe, something she hadn't felt in a long time. But as things grew more serious, Rhoda's fear started to kick in. After everything with Matthew, she couldn't shake the feeling that things were moving too fast. And when Adrian proposed, her past made her panic, and without thinking, she turned him down. Devastated, Adrian was left heartbroken, but Rhoda remained unfazed, her heart now calloused by all the pain she had endured. After turning down Adrian, Rhoda knew she should take some time to focus on herself, to heal and to reflect. But life had other plans. The moment she met Christopher Glass, member of the ultra-famous boy band The Suit and Tie Guys, the prospect of taking a step back was stolen from her. Once again, Rhoda found herself swept up in a whirlwind romance. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and despite the nerves creeping in, Rhoda couldn't resist. They shared a deep love for art and music, and Christopher's rebellious nature was something Rhoda just couldn't help but adore. For the first time in a while, everything felt easy and exciting, and Rhoda didn't think twice about diving in head first to the connection that was blossoming between them. But Rhoda's fears were confirmed when she stumbled upon Christopher's dirty little secret. Rhoda broke up with Christopher, walking away without a second thought. She had no interest in taking on someone else's battles, especially when she had her own healing to do. But soon after leaving Christopher, Rhoda discovered she was pregnant. Uncertain of how this would affect her life and career, Rhoda found herself at a crossroads. Should she tell Christopher about the child and hope he would clean up his act? Maybe they could reconcile, get married, and live the kind of life that she had once dreamed of. The idea of providing a stable home for her child, even with uncertainty, tugged at her heart. But then there was the other side of her, the side that had learned to run, to leave behind the mess when things got too complicated. Would she follow her natural inclination to flee? Pack her bags, leave everything behind, and raise her son alone, away from the chaos? I don't know. I'll leave the rest of the story up to you. Rhoda's available for download on my exchange page linked below.